Let me tell you, I'm happy to say there's nothing but blue skies coming your way. There's nothing but blue skies coming your way. I'm happy to say there's nothing but blue skies coming your way. Blue skies coming your way. Blue skies coming your way. This is weather. Weather. This is weather. Weather. This is weather. Weather. This is weather. Weather. This is Dick Whitney bringing you the weather. This is Dick Whitman bringing you the weather. This is Dick Whitman bringing you the weather. And let me tell you, I'm happy to say there's nothing but blue skies coming your way.
Good morning. It is Saturday, April 26th, and you are watching a new episode of You Don't Watch Sports right here on the Feo Grande YouTube network. I am Bill Smith, and I am joined, as always, by the man, the myth, the legend, Feo Grande himself, Omari Ellis. Omari, how was your sports week, good sir?
Hey, I've actually been enjoying it for the most part. Lots of stuff going on, lots of stuff to talk about, and we will talk about it today. I'm looking forward to it. Let's go.
Absolutely. We're going to cover 3 topics here on You Don't Watch Sports, just to sprinkle a little bit of sports information into your conversation, as we are your guiding light through the sea that is sports talk. Omari, we got a bunch of sports stuff happening right now. We got the MLB season hot and going, and we're not even going to talk about it today because we got so much stuff on the docket. There's no WrestleMania. There's no UFL because we got too much to talk about. Number one, NFL draft. As our resident NFL expert,
Yes, indeed.
guide me through this.
Well, obviously, big stories of the draft every year, no matter what the draft is who went number one. And as usual, or as is more than likely going to be the case this year, it was a quarterback, as the Tennessee Titans take Cam Ward, one of the main front runners for quarterback options coming out of this draft. Overall rank, he got like a 92 grade in the draft, if you care about that. Number 2, however, the Jacksonville Jaguars traded up to take the number 2 spot, and they took the other hottest commodity. I forget exactly which athlete said it, but he said he had the potential to be the Shohei Ohtani of football, in the sense that he plays offense and he plays 2 positions. Travis Hunter, wide receiver / cornerback out of Colorado, the Buffaloes.
Omari, with your limited knowledge, opinion, can he do that professionally?
No. At least not a lot. Because no one's running and tackling the pitcher. Like, I understand.
Deion did it.
He didn't tackle the pitcher, though.
Well, no, I'm saying Deion played both sides of the ball.
Did he?
He was a corner and a wide receiver. That's why it's that's why partially why it was such a special thing that he was being coached by Deion.
Right, he did that in the NFL? Okay.
for the Atlanta Falcons. I mean,
What
you
I
would
will see. Oh, go
you
ahead.
could say maybe you could make the argument that he never did both great at the same time.
Okay. I,
Dion's go
Dion's
ahead.
mainly known for being a corner.
Yeah.
Like everything I know about Dion is he played corner like he's one of the greatest corners ever. But what I will say with the Travis Hunter thing, I could see him being used for some plays on offense, but to full time both sides of the ball, the body takes a lot of fatigue. And I was talking with some friends about welcome to the NBA moments versus welcome to the NFL moments, and just listening to people like the athletes themselves talk about it. What was your welcome to the NBA moment? Man, I was on the court and Kobe walked up and was like, "You better be wearing my shoes." That was crazy. Or I saw so. Rarely is it something where you would think it's a lot of, I got dunked on or I got trucked by Shaq. That was crazy. But it's usually something slightly more tight. Almost everybody's welcome to the NFL moment, especially if you play offense, is this big motherfucker ran up and told me I was in a whole new league. I got hit so fucking hard, and they just stand up and welcome to the NFL. Like they go out there to make a point to hit your ass as hard as it is. Luckily, there's not a lot of Ray Lewises in the league this year for the rookies to have to deal with, but they hit a lot harder up them. Their boys is big, and it's nowadays where they hit even harder, despite the fact that they don't do it often. And they get penalized for it, so you don't see as many big hits. We get more injuries these days than we did in the past, despite playing safer. It's kind of crazy.
Yep.
But I hope he does do both. I hope he proves me wrong, and he does both of them. I want him to do both of them and be like some super, like a Shohei Ohtani of football, where holy shit, the guy we projected to be like this actually lived up to the hype and surpassed it. So rooting for Travis Hunter, that'd be cool. Other big things, Mason Graham goes to the Browns. They chose a defensive tackle to be there alongside Myles Garrett. Rather than fix their quarterback issue, the Browns said, screw it, we can't do quarterback drafted anyway. We're just going to go full defense. We're going to give Myles Garrett some help on that defensive line. But that allowed the Raiders, Tom Brady's Raiders, they allowed him to get Ashton Genty, the main running back prospect of the draft, is now an Oakland Raider. Other stories.
I see a
highlight. Well,
I see a Panthers logo on there.
I'm gonna talk about them because that's my team. The Panthers get a wide receiver to help out Bryce Young. He now has 2 big wide receiver targets or whatever because he had like a young one last year. But now he's got Tetroya McMillan. I did not pronounce that first name right, and I do apologize. But he got that guy out of Arizona, so looking forward to that. Bears get a tight end.
How do you feel about him? Have you gone into have you looked at the tape?
From a little bit of the tape I've seen, he seems good. He seems like they had a lot of highlights of him. One of the draft analysts that I was watching, because I was watching alongside the Pat McAfee little spectacular, and he was talking about like the way he catches the ball. There are some people that they kind of frame in the catch to do it, they guide it in, and there's others that just go up and grab it or pluck it out of the air, as he said it. Like he's a plucker. He's one of those kind of wide receivers, so he'll probably have a lot more dynamic catches. Apparently he's more of a end zone threat too, as well. One of those quarterback safety net type things, and if you got the deep threat on the other side or whatever. And because he's tall, with Bryce Young being short, it helps to help him be able to see them down the field. And he's got 2 tall receivers now, so ideally it should help.
Yeah.
And I have another name highlighted on here, and that's the Cowboys' offensive guard that they drafted. His name's Tyler Booker. And I do this because I saw a quote of his last night. I thought it was a defensive player with the way he was talking about it. Because they asked him about how it feels to play football, and he's like, "Oh, I like football, but I also like..."
I saw this.
Yeah, where he's talking about people like to talk about how much they enjoy playing the game. They love playing the game. They love teeing it up and getting ready to get it on their gear in the field. until they go head to head with Tyler Booker. Until I put them through the ringer and then that joy leaves their eyes. And that's why I like playing football. I'm like, oh, I thought it was a defensive player.
Yeah. The group that was interviewing him were like silent. And then you have that eruption of just like, oh shit! That was some of the hardest shit I've ever heard somebody say.
That dude was like, I was like, okay,
yeah, I'd be hyped if he was coming to my team.
Yeah, like, oh, I like making people hate football because they have to play me. That's where I get my joy. We briefly mentioned wrestling. I liked Braun Strowman from the second they interviewed him, and his first line was, "I really like hurting Roman Reigns." Nobody asked you that. Anyway, but Tyler Booker plays for the Cowboys. Meanwhile, the Giants, who also need a quarterback, decided to pick Jackson Dart, who I haven't really heard a lot about, except for the Giants can't pick Jackson Dart, can they? Well, they did. So there he goes. He apparently was a surprise to go in the first round. But more surprising than who went in the first round is who didn't. This individual didn't go in the second round. And we've kind of alluded to his team before. His teammate went number 2. His dad is a Hall of Famer. Shedeur Sanders, after the college career he's had, has not been drafted yet by anybody. As we speak at this moment, it is I believe the third through 7th rounds is going on today. Shedeur Sanders yet to be picked by anybody. Lots of teams need a quarterback. Shedeur Sanders did not play. Like, Tim Tebow went in the first round, okay? Well, Tim Tebow won a championship. That's unfair to say. I was going to say, Tim Tebow went in the first round, and Shedeur Sanders can't. But there have been a lot
Shedeur Sanders was knocked down, was brought back to reality a little bit in this past year compared to him and his dad's first year together. And then his comments following the combine and a couple of different media days that he's been involved with haven't exactly thrilled potential teams. I found a quote that's getting passed around today from a unnamed scout of a prominent NFL team when speaking with an ESPN reporter. I know you are focused on him with each passing pick, but you'd be amazed at the number of teams that don't even have him on their board. They're not even considering him. He's not even part of the conversations.
Okay.
Again, that is attributed to an unnamed scout of a prominent NFL so an unnamed scout of an unnamed team.
Yeah.
Who knows how much you can attribute to that quote.
To quote Herm Edwards, put your name on it. Be a man or a woman, put your name on it.
But the picks would suggest that might not necessarily be wrong.
I do want to agree with the people that, because I don't think it's a straight up race thing. I'm not going to go there. But it is kind of weird that we're happy when our Brady's, our Rodgers, our Baker Mayfields are confident and cocky and talk about how great they are. But then this guy talks about how good he is. And Baker Mayfield, like, I was watching something the other night where they were talking about, he had his own little catchphrase dance, the buddy buddy thing. He was doing all other kinds of shit, just acting like he was bigger than the game, and he still went number 1 overall. So that's how I feel about that. So it's like we compliment certain players and that's fine, and then other ones we're like, oh no, they need to be taught a lesson and put in their place. We're not drafting them because his stats are not bad enough to where he shouldn't be drafted by the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's be honest here. Okay, you want to say he doesn't go first round? Okay, or hell, even Aaron Rodgers had to wait till pick 26. He still went the first round. Like they wanted to cut him down a peg, and so he had to wait till he was picked 26. Okay, But we'll see what happens. Hopefully, he does get drafted by somebody. Apparently, I wouldn't mind if drafted him, but I'm also just kind of I like having spectacle and enjoying the game. But Bryce Young, he actually started to improve near the end of last season, so I get why the Panthers wouldn't go after somebody else right now. That if it seems like Young's finally getting into his groove. But we'll see if he ends up somewhere.
Yeah. To back up to qualify your statements a moment ago, I went ahead and pulled up. I have Baker Mayfield's NCAA career in front of me, and I have Shedeur Sanders in NCAA career in front of me. Baker has more time. He has a full extra year as a starter than Shedeur, and an additional year as a on the field freshman for some activity. But their per game averages, their per season averages are incredibly similar. And in some, Shedeur improves their interception percentages. Baker Mayfield is at a flat 2. Shedeur is at a 1.4. Their yards per game, Shedeur is at 306.8. Baker is at 304.3. Their quarterback rating, Baker is at a 175.4. Shedeur is at a 160.4. So that's a knock against Shedeur, but not a significant
160 something. I don't know how college quarterback rating works. Let me be fair.
Yeah, but I mean it's still not.
Yeah, that's still pretty up there, or sounds like it.
So yeah, to back up your completion percentage, 71.8 career for Shedeur. Completion percentage for Baker Mayfield, 68.5 in college.
Yeah.
So it is incredibly similar, I would say.
Yeah. So hopefully he gets picked by somebody. Because, yeah, let's be honest, somebody needs to pick him. If you pick him late round, sure, whatever.
Everybody needs quarterbacks.
Everybody.
And you know what? And this will only end up probably benefiting him potentially, because now he has a high likelihood of getting drafted by a good team, and maybe he sits on the bench for a year under the tutelage of a veteran, who can burn a deep second round pick on a quarterback because they already have a stacked team. Yeah, and so this is just their insurance plan. Yeah. Like Shedeur's going to sit under the learning tree, and then in 2 years he's going to be our MVP level quarterback.
Do the potentially. Packers strat.
Yeah, do exactly. Do the Packers strategy. He could get drafted by the Packers. All right, let's move on to topic number 2, Omari, because it is the NHL playoffs, and we haven't talked about it yet.
No,
so I need to run through these games with you real quick and lay down what we have so far. We have best of 7 series here in the opening round. We have the Winnipeg Jets going against our St. Louis Blues, currently leading 2-1. You have the Dallas Stars 2 games up on Colorado, who have 1 win. You have the Vegas Golden Knights 1 win against Minnesota Wild's 2 wins. You have the Los Angeles Kings 2 against Edmonton's 1 game. You have Toronto Maple Leafs as a heading for a sweep currently against the Ottawa Senators at 3-0. You have the Tampa Bay Lightning at no wins to Florida Panthers 2 wins, Washington Capitals at 2, Montreal Canadiens at 1, the Carolina Hurricanes at 2, and the New Jersey Devils at 1. So we are currently looking at as things stand, Winnipeg, Dallas moving on to the next round, Vegas Golden Knights, Minnesota Wild and Kings moving on, Maple Leafs and Florida, Washington and Carolina as it stands currently, but things can change. Obviously, you're rooting for our St. Louis Blues. What else you got on the board there?
All right, so obviously I'm rooting for the Blues. If I want to root for another team, I think last year I said I liked the Golden Knights because of college, and I went to a college that had Golden Knights as a mascot. But even if that's the Western Conference Finals, you know who I'm rooting for in that one. Realistically, coming out of here, Winnipeg Jets, I'm assuming, are the 1 seed being on the top of here. Did the Canadian team win last year? So then we were talking about wanting a Canadian team to win last year.
No, I believe maybe Florida won.
Florida Panthers. Okay. Well, I don't think it's happening this year for coming to the West either. I think the Blues make it past Winnipeg. So yeah, I think but I don't think realistically, I do understand that the Blues are, as I call them, the Cubs of hockey. They don't win a lot.
We broke that curse though.
I mean, so did they. But I will say Edmonton probably comes out of the West. With my uneducated guess, I'm gonna say Toronto comes out of the East.
So you're talking about an all-Canadian Stanley Cup.
You know what? Why not?
Guaranteed.
You know
like the country of Canada is beside themselves. They know that no matter what happens, the drought will finally be snapped, and they'll get their cup back.
Being lifted. Yeah, this is the year, Canada.
Yeah, they could use it too. I mean, they're getting shit on constantly by awful Big Brother below them. Now we're meddling in their politics and shit. Yeah, like at least they could get their Stanley Cup back.
Get your sport back.
For me, if it's not the Blues, it's the Maple Leafs. I was championing this time last year that I would love to see a Canadian team win the cup again, just for the pure joy of an entire country celebrating on the level that they would probably celebrate. Like, I feel like even if that were to happen, like Montreal folks would celebrate a Toronto victory, Edmonton folks would celebrate a Toronto victory, and vice versa. I would guess, but maybe not.
I will celebrate a Canadian victory for the reasons you have listed. I've always said it on the show. Gotta keep it up. If it comes down to one versus the other, USA.
USA, baby.
Yeah, baby. USA, baby. Be really obnoxious.
Topic number 3, Omar. We have another playoff going on right now. The NBA is going through their playoffs.
Yes.
So we have a ton of games. We touched on it last week, but there have been some developments, obviously. And so we need to go through them. These are also 7-game series. So we have nobody moving on yet, but we have a cup. We only have one. We have one that's close. Take us through it.
All right, so the one that's close, the Thunder are up 3-0 versus the Grizzlies. Ja Morant and the boys are having a hard time against SGA out there. Meanwhile, Kawhi Leonard, I told you to be fearful of the man. He's up 2-1 against the Nuggets. Jokic having to drop that whole I don't care about basketball character because his team is not doing good. One thing I didn't factor into the Nuggets last week when I picked them as my headpiece because I was not rooting, but I was like expecting the worst. They lost their coach recently. I forgot about that. That might end up mattering. Meanwhile, the Lakers are also down 2-1 to the Timberwolves. Ant-Man going crazy on them boys. Bron apparently, I thought it was because Bron was playing like ass, but apparently he had 38 last night and it just didn't matter.
I mean, they've still won one game. It's still only, you're talking about these 2-1 series like they're over, or the other team is getting dominated. Like,
I mean, the Timberwolves are at home right now. Like, they played the next game, but the Timberwolves are at home. Next game, the Clippers are still at home. So they still got the home, like they stole home court advantage pretty much with the lead in the series.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Now, obviously, I'm rooting for LeBron and the boys and Luka and all of that. But hey, I'm a pessimist. What can I say? Then we got the Rockets versus the Warriors series tied at 1. So Curry and Jimmy and the boys holding their own against whoever's playing on the Rockets.
Now is it Jimmy and the boys? Did I not?
Curry and Jimmy.
Again, this is the casual sports fans show.
Yeah.
But I thought I read that Jimmy Butler was injured.
I was unaware.
42 minutes ago, Golden State Warriors status, star player status, live on air, folks. Live on air.
Yeah,
The Houston Rockets are going into the Bay Area. The Warriors come into the game. Injury report as Jimmy Butler is questionable for the matchup after suffering a pelvic contusion in Game 2 against the Rockets.
Pelvic contusion.
Butler attempted to get a rebound, but fell hard on the ground, hitting his pelvis on the court. He did not return to the game, which prompted the Rockets to take over the game and claim victory to
Okay.
even the series to 1 game apiece.
So I had not
Butler
heard
had
that.
25 points in the Warriors' Game 1 victory. So, yeah, crucial loss potentially for the
Yeah.
Warriors if he does not play tonight.
I agree. Meanwhile, in the East, we got the Cavaliers versus the Heat, and the Heat are getting burned at the moment, down 2-0.
Everybody kept saying you can't, the Cavaliers are getting slept on. You can't keep sleeping on these Cavaliers. They have the best record in the league. And then
Yeah.
it just kept happening that like people would be like, these Cavaliers over here still have the best record in the league.
They sure
Nobody's
do.
talking about them. Why is nobody talking about them? They got the best record. And now
Said it
they're
a few times on the show.
right.
And I still didn't pick them to win the championship, but that's just because they're in Cleveland. That's not anything against the team and the players themselves. It's just your city. I'm never gonna pick the Cubs at the beginning of the season or the beginning of the playoffs to win the championship.
What's the NFL equivalent?
I don't know, fucking
Panthers.
Browns. Nah, the Panthers at least have been in minutes.
Jaguars. It's the Jaguars. You're never going to pick the Jaguars to open the season.
Jaguars, Browns. They're not picking either.
Well, the Browns were pretty good for a couple of years. They're starting to slide down again, though, right? But I mean,
Browns-
there was a few years where they were playoff contention. Like you're not even putting the Jaguars in the playoffs to start the year,
Jaguar-
are you? Are they good?
No,
Again,
they're both
casual
bad.
sports fan
They're
show.
both- they're both bad, but the Browns have a longer history. I think the Browns have had like maybe two better than 8-8 seasons in the last like 20 years or some shit. The Browns have been unfortunate ever since the original Browns team moved to Baltimore.
Okay.
It became the Ravens.
I thought maybe
Browns.
I thought maybe like 2021 through 2023 was actually pretty decent.
There was hope, but there was
There's
like
hope.
1 year out of there where they actually looked
Has
like
there
they
ever
were
been
turning it
hope
into
for the
something.
Jaguars?
Yes, Saxonville.
Okay.
Saxonville was a era when they had Blake Bortles and the boys. Also,
Right.
they thought Trevor Lawrence was gonna be something. Lately, there was an aura of hope because he's their like early #1 overall pick or whatever, Trevor Lawrence. But now that hope is dwindling because the past couple of years it was like, yeah, we had a good immediate because they didn't have an O line for him and Urban Meyer was too busy going to clubs. Anyway. Back to the NBA. The
So has
Cavaliers-
anything really changed for you? You think?
Not
Go.
really, because the Bucks are losing. The Pistons don't really care. Boston, I think if anything, the Nuggets may not make it as far as I was like saying they would in my pessimistic view.
Uh-huh.
But right now,
You did
is-
give the shout out to not sleep on the Clippers though. You
Yeah.
did shout that out of like Kawhi is a bad man when he wants to be.
yeah. So, provided he stays healthy, Kawhi is dangerous. Two-time champ, Kawhi Leonard, and two-time Finals MVP, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. And I know we gave shout outs to like the old vanguard of the West in the Lakers and the Warriors. And they're both looking to be on their heels right now, even though that series is tied 1-1 for the Warriors, as we discussed with the Butler injury. I know we both kind of unfortunately said that we knew what was going to be happening with Boston. Like neither of us are thrilled about it, but you can
They're
say
the
that they're
reigning
probably
defending.
going to be good. Yeah. And I'm glad to see that currently the Knicks are leading their series. I know I gave a shout out to like
Yeah.
they're an old. I feel like in my mind, it's like Knicks is like one of the first five teams. I don't know if that's right, but in my casual sports
It's short for
fandom, it
Knickerbocker.
feels yeah, it feels like one of the classics,
Yeah.
and it's played in Madison Square Garden and Patrick Ewing and Spike Lee and like there's so much aura of the Knicks, but
Yeah.
yet no hardware. So I'd love to see that.
Yes. I too would like a
Us
success
casual
story
sports
for the
fans, that's what we
Knicks.
like.
Yeah, I don't have
We
a
like
home team to be loyal to. I just have teams I like and don't like, and I don't like
yeah.
Boston.
I like to
Or
catch on to stories and follow them.
yeah, so as long as Boston doesn't win, I'm happy. But yes, I do like the story of the New York Knicks finally doing it. But yeah, the Magic ain't doing well either. Unfortunately. But we'll see. The playoffs are early, as you mentioned. A lot of these series are 2-1 or 1-1. Only two sweeps kind of happening at the moment.
Yeah, a lot of parity so far. We'll see. I mean, we're still early into the playoffs, so we'll see if we get deeper in. Once some of these series end up going 3-1, then they don't feel like they're so even.
Correct. Yeah, very few teams come back from a 3-1 lead. Nobody, I think, yet has come back from down 3-0, which is still crazy. It's been like 70 years, NBA. How has no one come back from down 3-0?
I mean, is it only happened once, maybe twice in Major League Baseball? So
Yeah, it's
it's a
crazy.
it's a big deficit. Yeah, I mean, you got to win 4 games in a row, which doesn't sound
What
gigantic. There have been
sweeps
teams that have
happen?
won. There's been teams that have won teens in a row.
Yeah.
During the regular season.
Well, or even that one year where they almost went, where the Lakers almost went faux, faux, faux. I forget who exactly said they were gonna do that. They're like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
we're sweeping everybody faux, faux, forward. I think they swept two people 4-0 and then won a series in 5 and then won the championship. But it's like, damn, almost.
All right, well, that covers our 3 topics here on You Don't Watch Sports today. If you like watching us talk about other random stuff, we have a movie, TV show, documentary, kind of just a media show where we share things back and forth that one guy has seen, the other one hasn't. It shows up on this channel on Tuesdays. We're coming up on year 3. We're
Jesus.
finishing year 3 of this
Yeah,
thing.
finishing year 3.
We're finishing year 3 of this thing, starting up on year 4 of it. It's really cool, huge catalog of movies that you can watch with us over there on This Guy Hasn't Seen. We also have a show called Mock Draft that drops on Mondays every now and then. That's mostly wrestling focus, centered around a fantasy league that we did where we drafted wrestlers and earned points in their wins and losses. And that has now finished up with the WrestleMania season. And we'll be getting into that here soon. And if you like anything else on this channel, go tell Super Jazz to show up on whatever we want on Wednesdays, whenever he wants. That's all I got, Omari.
I think you already mentioned the Twitch and Twitter, the Giotavi, GIOTAVI. Come on in, stop on by. Streaming our day 240. You know what
that means.
Exactly. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week with more You Don't Watch Sports. Adiosness.
You didn't say Super
I
Jazz.
didn't say Super Jazz. Damn. Super Jazz. There we go. As nature intended.